Finance. This is Adam.
Hi, Adam. This is Jackie Bowerly from the Harvey area.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi. I'm wanting to know who actually owns the school. Is it the taxpayers, the people of the area, or does the school board own it? Are they owners or managers?
Well, the school district is the one who owns the building. The school board is elected to run the operation of that school.
Okay.
But it's the school district itself that owns the building.
Miss Jackie, I talked to you almost a year and a half ago about tax credits with being on the National Registry.
Okay.
I have some questions for you. You know how it says that you get 20% tax credit? And if it's a nonprofit like the school, okay, you said that we can't use the tax credit. Remember I mentioned to you and questioned whether you could sell the tax credits?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any?
Okay.
Can you kind of remember what I'm asking? Okay. So,
I don't remember our specific conversation and so on.
oh, that's okay. That's okay.
You know, like you're suggesting when you're a nonprofit, there's really not an opportunity to use them and so on. But people that are nonprofits, they have worked with people that help them with passing them on, selling them to someone who can use them. So, the first thing that we need to understand is that the historic tax credits are, a credit towards income tax. So if you have a tax liability of, we'll just say, $100,000, and you have $500,000 of historic tax credits available to you, then you can use 100,000 of that 500,000 in tax credits towards your taxes for that particular year, as I would understand it. And I mean, very honestly, when it comes to the money of it and how people use them, the best thing to do is talk with a tax advisor, an accountant, someone like that.
Okay. So if somebody getting grants, because you deal with just the tax, is that correct?
I work with the historic tax credit, yep.
Okay, so I was just wondering, did it have to be used however you plan on doing it on the property that's registered versus a different property?
I don't believe that there is anything dictating how a person uses and like I say again, if you have a tax credit, then and you have a tax liability, then you use that tax credit to for the most part pay your taxes that particular year.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So, and I just, back some years ago, people had the impression that someone was going to write them a check for, however many dollars of historic tax credits that they have, and that's just not the case.
No, it's understandable, right?
The IRS is not going to send you a check for, whatever that tax credit amount is. They are a credit.
Right.
So,
No, I understand that. To me, what I'm saying is, let's say the individual took their tax credit and they sold it to somebody for, I don't know, 50 cents on a dollar. And then they turned around and took that fund instead of on the historical landmark, okay, and fixing that up or doing something with that. They took that and applied it to their own personal business in another place in order to do remodeling or something. I just was wondering if that was fraudulent or not fraudulent.
And I'm going to be honest with you that I really can't say yes or no to.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like it's a feasible approach, but like there's an attorney here in Bismarck that works with people on selling or works with people on the tax credits, and I mean, he would be a much better person that.
Good afternoon, this is Amy.
Hi, Amy. This is Jackie Bowerly. I'm from Harvey, and I'm currently working on the nomination with Lauren. And we just passed the state for Harvey, and we're working on going towards the national now. And
Yep.
I would like to ask you some questions on the process. Once we pass at the national, what type of grants are available to our school, and kind of the process that we would go through? Can you kind of walk me through that?
Sure. We have, once a property is listed in the National Register, it opens you up to the Historic Preservation Fund, which is a federally funded grant. It is, in the past, we've allowed applications up to $50,000 with a dollar-for-dollar match. That means for every dollar we give you, you have to match it. So let's say you wanted to fix the roof and it cost $100,000. We would pay for $50,000. You would pay for $50,000.
Okay.
What else can I tell you about it? It does require that the work meet the Secretary of Interior standards for historic preservation. So like the example of the roof, metal roofs don't meet, for that particular building, would not meet the Secretary of Interior standards because it traditionally would not have had a metal roof. We would have to go with what, comparable product of what's there, as an example.
Yes.
This year, 2025, we do not have the grants available because our federal funding has been flat and delayed.
Well, it wouldn't probably, because of this being shut down, it probably won't be felt till 26.
Yep, so in 26, usually our grants are announced in June, July.
Okay.
And if you've got an email, I can send you a link to our page where all of the grants are listed.
Okay, so my email is...
Okay. I will send you an email that'll have a link to the State Historical Society grant page, as well as I can send you a list of other grants that you might be available, particularly the federal level, is where getting listed on the National Register can help.
Okay. Okay. So for a school, there's a fair amount of funds that would be available and an advantage for them to be registered. Is that correct?
It's going to open them up to a variety of sources. But, I definitely know of ours that's available typically every year.
Okay. And they're 50-50 now. They have to come up with that by what, the community or something to match that 50, or do you have grants that help get that match?
Yep, you can do, for our federal grants, we do require a cash match.
Okay, so that would be us, right?
Yeah, so that would be either depending on if the building's owned by the city, it would be their planning to make sure they have the cash match for that. We do have another grant program called the Cultural Heritage Grant Program. It doesn't require that your building is listed in the National Register.
Okay.
It is a state-funded program.
Cultural
And, yep, and it's, again, usually we do grants up to $50,000, and it's a dollar for dollar match. We do allow in-kind match on that one. Again, this year it was not funded, so the next available on that one will be the next biennium, which is 2027.
So in 2027.
Yep.
Okay. So
And those are open to, I was going to say, those are open to nonprofits, local, county, city governments. That covers the biggest two that they would be available to.
is there anybody that can walk them or help them when they get stuck?
On our particular grant, yes, they could call me and with any questions they would have as they work their way through the
And when you say ours, you mean the state grants?
The state grant, yes.
Okay, but the federal, is there like somebody at the federal level that they can talk to or not?
Any grant that is through our agency, the federal and state money, they can call me.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. You've been absolutely great. I can't
Emily's got her hand up.
Yeah, and I see that Jackie's on the call, so maybe she can speak first. I was my my comment was related to if federal funding is used, it will go through a Section 106 process that would see that these buildings are 50 years old or older, and there would be a review process of that time. Anyway, so the actually being nominated doesn't really impact the federal funding piece. But that's all I was gonna mention. But Jackie can speak more on the nomination process and the motivation to do that.
There's always something.
I mean, I would think it would be this one, but I don't understand.
What happened in the basement? We had a problem in the basement, right?
Here,
Yeah, okay, so that was an issue. This roof, if it starts going, let's say there's a storm of some kind and being it's in the condition it's in, if we start coming through there, that ain't gonna be pretty. Because with a building, you got three things. You got your roof, your structure, and the foundation. And any one of those three go haywire, building's gone in the long term. But that roof, you better shed the water.
Tammy, you wanna come in a minute? Just got a message about Historic Society.
I hear you talk about the Historical Society, and I've worked with them when I put the security cameras in the courthouse. And the courthouse is on the historical registry, so then they come back with recommendations. Do not drill into the mortar was one of those. So they'll work with you out at Festival Hall, and there are grants up to $150,000 in them to restore.
Sounds like we're looking into the plug.
Yeah,
We're out there. What do we do to fix?
Well, this is on registry, so that's your.
yeah, it's worth a try.
For the festival.
Doc and I have bitter tastes in our mouths from the historical society's past. However, that doesn't mean things can change. What did we try doing, Doc? Or, I don't mean you and me, but we were on.
It was that, the trim work and stuff on the courthouse.
And we asked for funding,
And
and
make it look like the old stuff.
it cost extra money to keep it as is, but they had no money for us. But that can
But
change,
there's a grant.
yeah.
And I know they've done some other courthouses and other things, I can tell the list of what they've done in other areas.
Who's gonna do that grant? You?
I could, if you wanted to.
Look into it.
Said
Well,
done for the
I mean, we gotta try something.
Right, exactly.
Right.
You know, even if you.
Or Festival Hall.
20,000 helps, you know?
Right.
Well, for the festival hall, there's 180.
And we already have estimates, so you'd have something to go on as to the need,
Yeah.
what's
What's the
happening.
76?
That's a big one.
That's
And
the
usually it's a
courthouse.
50-50 match,
These two are the.
it's not 100%.
I agree, I think this building's growth has first priority, we should do that pretty soon.
That's what I think. This gets used way more than the rest of it.
But if you give me the quote for Festival Hall, I'm sure
If you get a grant for that, it'll be really good.
it's a 50-50 grant.
50/50 now. It's still.
So we'd have to come up with 90,000.
That's better than all of it.
I know, I'm just saying, though,
Right.
get the figures in your head.
It's
There's
it's
90
worth,
and.
it's worth checking into.
180,000 and.
And it wouldn't be till next year because the 2024 grant closed in October, 2012, they closed in October, so we missed the deadline.
Yeah. Well,
So
You
next
would-
spring, we'd have to really,
right, okay.
so we can get done for 2 years.
So the bottom line is, Dan, what can we afford to do without getting into the dire straits?
Nothing.
So there we are.
But all that does is get you further in a hole.
Yes.
So I'm being sarcastic, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what these gals are gonna come back with next month. I don't know if it's gonna be 400 grand or
You know,
I'm
that,
just gonna have to shoulder.
that's my thing, we gotta kind of wait to take care of business before we
Yeah.
even tackle something.
And you know, you can't, it's no different than anything else. You have to deal with the reality of what is in front of you. And the number one thing you can do at this juncture is just to protect the assets you have.
Right.
Protect the employees that you are fond of, protect the structures that you have a liking to being able to operate from. You have to do those things. And that's what your choices become. And, you know, there's a lot of people that won't like it, just like they don't like other things. But you know what? They're not charged with figuring this out, coming up with a solution. And if the shoe were on the other foot, they too would be put in a predicament just like you are.
So how many $5 buckets do you?
Well, my question was along that same line. Who established that there's a need to redo the roof? Just because it's old, does it leak, does it?
Well, we've had water all over the place in here at times. Okay? And I know Tammy obviously wants this floor redone in here, but, you know, first things first, you gotta deal with certain other things.
I think that's the first priority in my mind.
or is the take care of business?
Well, I'm not gonna make a motion for it this month, but I think down the road, right, based on
You